With Last Epoch set to release in the next week and a half, this is going to be huge for the ARPG genre. They have already sold 1 million copies during open beta, which is big. I mean, yeah, it's not D4 numbers or anything like that, but it is a strive in the right direction, right? This game has a lot to offer, with a lot of people saying that this is like the middle ground in between Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. I completely 100% agree. It is going to have a little bit of complexity, but also not as crazy complex as Path of Exile is, and it's going to allow for, I believe, a very solid gameplay. One of the first things that this game has that I think is super awesome is you can either play online or you can play offline. So that means that more people are going to be able to play this game who have like those portable systems that you can play Last Epoch on. If you don't have internet connection, you're going to be able to play this game on there. They also have a lot of other things so there's a pretty solid character selection. You can either do a mage, a rogue, a primalist, a cult, or a sentinel. And then you have a pretty solid base of classes that you can pick from there, which is going to cause you to have, a lot of, diversity. Do you want to be a paladin? Do you want to be a void knight? You're going to have different routes that you can go. Now, with that being said, the game also has a lot of other things. So whenever you pick a certain class, like I picked primalist, right? You have this passive skill tree. And the thing is like in Path of Exile, yeah, you have the skill gems, but this you have an actual tree. But the thing is that you can adjust this skill tree any way that you want. And one of the awesome things about it is that you can respec this at any given time with using in-game currency. So if you use a point and you're like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that, you can instantly take it out, swap points around for in-game gold. So it's very easy to do that switch. Also, whenever you get into your skills and you get a little bit further, about every 10-ish levels, you can take one of those skills and you can upgrade it even further. So, and the thing is that once you get to this, it looks kind of intimidating, but it's not as bad as what it really looks. So, like if you look on each direction, if you go to the right, you see it's like lightning, right? Increases your cast speed. If you keep going, you're going to be getting things that are relatively in the same general area of expertise, right? So once you come up here and you get blizzard, you're going to get icicles, you're going to get chill to the bone, you're going to get frostbite, you're going to get piercing winds. So you kind of got to look at this as like a section, like a 4 section, and what that, you can decide on how you want to go with it in each direction. So like this, you have poison up here, you have pillars, you have winterwood, that have thorn damage. So you got to just look at each individual skill and see how you kind of want to spec. Now let's say you spec one way and you're like, oh, I don't like that. Right here, you can either remove points with gold or you can despecialize the whole skill altogether. And what that does is like right here, you see where it's empty. Let's say I decide, okay, well, I want to have Serpent Sting, and I can instantly put Serpent Sting up here. It makes it very simple to use, but also complex enough to where you can build really in any direction that you want to build. And with the item, diversity, it's really solid. So like, you have certain gear, and it's kind of like Path of Exile. You have your here, let me show you. You have your prefixes and your suffixes. It's all around the same, concept, where if you have a prefix, you can craft a prefix or a suffix, and so on and so on. And to be able to show you that a little bit further, so as you see here, this is literally just right on the Last Epoch site. They literally teach you how to do it. You have different crafting items. You have glyphs, runes, and shards. You can literally take any piece of gear and you can craft what you want onto that piece of gear. So it's It's not as in depth as PoE yet, but it still gives you different things that you can craft into that gear. You know, if you have a glyph that gives you a prefix, and you can craft a prefix or a suffix or yada yada yada. The same thing, the same concept as the other ARPGs in the genre, which I think is very good. Like the shards, they can be used to add a new affix to items to increase the tier of an existing affix. So if you want to bump up the prefix, you can bump up the level of the prefix. That is huge. In case you roll a good one and you don't have the highest tier one, you can upgrade it. Runes, they can modify items in a variety of ways, such as removing an undesired affix and re-rolling the values of that affix in the range. So it just kind of helps you with getting rid of certain things. The glyphs are items that can be used in conjunction with the affix, shard, or rune to modify the effects of the craft. So it's just kind of your way of tweaking the craft. Complex, not as complex as Path of Exile, obviously, but I really think that Last Epoch is going in a solid direction with this, with trying to lead people into a gameplay that gives you some and gives you enough, but not over crazy complicating it to a point where you need to have a PhD in this game. Another thing that I really like are the idols, okay? So what the idols do, as you can see this little board right here, let me pull up the game. The idols right here, they give you different stats. So you can farm these idols and get these idols, and you can literally, once you get leveled up, you can put them in any different area that you want. These will all unlock, right? And you have to Tetris these idols into this area in order to get the effects. So like right here, I have increased healing effectiveness, physical damage, and minion damage. On this shaman, I went down the shaman road because I wanted to use totems and I wanted to do more totem damage and minion damage. So a totem is considered a minion, so I would put on a increase the minion damage idol. So I'm getting that perk there. Now I had this other one right here. This is sideways, so I was able to put 3 different idols in this area. Now let's say I had 2 of these. I would only be able to put 1 in this area because these other 2 are one sockets, and I can't fit it in there. Just like Tetris, right? You got to figure out how you're going to make each idol work in that specific area. Now we have 7 health on kill, increased physical damage, and increased minion damage. That's what I have there. Another thing that I really, really love about this is that in your inventory, you have your crafting items right here, right? It shows you kind of what you got. If you hit transfer crafting items, they instantly, everything in your inventory goes straight into your crafting, and you can use it at a later time whenever you see fit. So it helps to clear up your inventory, which I think is huge. Because of all the other ARPGs that I've played, I've always had to stop and go back and put things in when I needed to. All in all, I think that Last Epoch is really going to be like the bridge game for the ARPG genre. I think that as I started in Diablo 4, and then I worked my way into PoE, and like with how life is and everything like that, I think that for the average gamer, I still think that Diablo 4 is probably still a better decision. The hardcore gamers, the people that play multiple hours a day, who just have a lot more free time, I really feel like Path of Exile is probably going to be more fun for you. But the people who are kind of like me in the aspects of, you know, I game for a few hours, I go to work, but I do have a couple hours here and there to game. I really think that Last Epoch is going to hit the nail on the head with the content and with like what I'm personally able to do. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about with this game to be released. Something that isn't crazy complicated, something that gives me a lot of content, but also gives me the character creation that I strive to want. Another cool thing is that when you do go to play, there's going to be different game modes like hardcore and softcore, and something that I think is monumental in this ARPG genre is if you look right here, you can see SCSC. That means soft core. And what you can do is you can start a hardcore character, and if you die, it transfers it to your soft core realm. Now, if I believe that this is going to be like a league-wide thing where like it puts it into your league, so you could technically start hardcore, and if you die, you go to softcore, and you don't lose your progression. Now, yes, you will lose your stash tabs and things like that, but to me, that is just fantastic. And that's because there's like, usually what strives me away from hardcore characters is that it just gets lost and like it goes to the normal realm or whatever you want to call it. And to me, like, that drives me crazy because I still want to do the seasonal content, but I lose my character. But now I can start hardcore and I can see how far I can make it, and then it transfers to my softcore account if I die, and I'm able to keep playing that character on the seasonal content. And to me, that is just game changing. That is next level things. Now, I imagine there's going to be some things that I'm not going to enjoy about Last Epoch. I don't like the visuals as much as the other two games. I think that it could really strive to get better in that aspect. Some of the sound effects, the sounds, Path of Exile definitely wins in the sound category, at least so far, in my opinion. When I have my, headphones on, Path of Exile just sucks me in completely into the game. So that's going to be really hard to beat, in my opinion. Diablo 4, I don't even put it on the map. And that's really sad because, like, I started playing with Diablo 4, like probably a lot of you have. And then you get lost in the game, and then you find other games that are just better. So that's D4 bad, Path of Exile login, and I really feel like Last Epoch is going to be let's log in. So if you guys haven't done it, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you would like to watch my progression through Last Epoch, once it is released, we will be playing it quite often. I stream every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I bring content Monday through Friday. So guys, I love you all. Check out some other videos, and I will see you all tomorrow on our next video. Let's go. Ha! Get it.